to the Aslan camp tossing grenades.
Of course.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But I probably could have died. But
Well, but you didn't. So
oh hell no, I didn't, and I fucked their first responders up.
yes.
I need to read that story before the game. I saw you posted it.
Well, if he wants to play, he's more than welcome.
Oh yeah, I told him that I could turn them on to it. There's two guys in the group.
Yeah, if they want to play. The nice thing that I like about Old School Essentials is that old D&D was designed for a bigger group. So,
Yeah,
your standard party size was 6 people. If you had less than 6, then the people in the party really needed to consider hiring hirelings and retainers. And
yeah,
no matter what, you're probably going to want to hire retainers because you're going to have somebody to carry all that shit. But you still, if you had less than 6 people, you wanted to usually hire hirelings, and at the very least to be meat shields.
yeah.
Looks dangerous. We're paying you money. You go first. But with fifth edition, and I guess really it started with fourth edition. I don't remember this so much with third, but they changed it. The standard party size is 4, and I'm like, well, why? Why is it so small?
Because it's not like what it once was.
Well, no shit. That is the God's honest truth right
Well,
there.
I mean, not necessarily. Just, I mean, the culture of the humans around it is different. Because I remember back in the early '80s where I mean, all you really had to do was say, "Hey, we're going to play some D&D. Come here," and there could be 15, 20 people sitting the fuck down
Right.
to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was as your character died, you just kind of got wheedled, it was Darwin's law kind of,
Right.
oh well, there you go. And so
Well, yeah, I remember back in the late '80s, well, mid to late '80s, there was this whole idea that if your character died, there were some DMs that, oh, you died, so you can't make a new character and rejoin the party. You're gonna have to wait until the next adventure. Like,
yeah.
really? Okay. Whatever.
Well, I mean, a lot of the spur of the moment things, they're just really trying to get through the adventure. You spent your 10 or 15 bucks on the module. You took the time to read it. You set it up, you run it. You're just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
So I mean, God, you gotta, God, a good DM, was being high demand, and a lot of people would show up and wanting to play. So, I mean, either the whole party just kind of died and teetered out and didn't complete the adventure, or
Right.
Yeah. No, man.
Well, yeah, and I mean that was a lot of cases. I remember it's like, oh, well, there was a total party wipe. We just that was the end of that adventure.
Yeah.
We made new characters, and next week we started an entirely new adventure. It was like, maybe these characters will go on to be a
that
campaign.
was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the adventures, I mean, at least in theory, had the ability to just chew up characters and spit them out.
Oh,
They
no
were
shit.
almost, if
Well,
the DM played shit like it was supposed to be played, you just don't get past certain things unless you're lucky.
yeah.
And,
Yeah, I remember I played at a con back in the '80s. Went through this was first edition D&D. Went through Tomb of Horrors, and when you sat down
yeah.
at the table, you had to create 2 characters, and out of those 6 players, uh, it was me and one other guy that got to the end,
Yeah.
and we only had one character left.
Yeah.
Everybody else had lost all of their characters. We had lost all of our hirelings. So then fast forward to what? Last year, I think it was? Might have been year before that. I ran the 5th edition version of Tomb of Horrors.
And
Oh
it's
my!
cakewalk.
It
It's
was like
fucking
going to
cakewalk.
Disneyland. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just ridiculous.
yeah. That's but you know they the idea where people really love their characters and get into deep. I mean, that's the style today. Is these huge backstories and all of that.
Yeah, first level, and
It,
they show up with a 3-page backstory. Yeah, I
yeah,
love
yeah,
those
yeah. Well, I
guys.
mean, the thing is, though, I mean, that's what they're selling today. Is they're selling
Mhm.
survivability and being a little bit more powerful than the next guy if you've got the latest and greatest book that you bought.
Right.
Yeah, because the shit they're releasing today is just a little bit more powerful than the last stuff, which is a little bit more powerful. So if you're just rolling in with just the player's handbook, I mean, you're kind of half-assed. Just with all the toys that you get to play with, you're limited.
Well, and this is one of the things that I've been saying. There's a lot of people that complain about in fifth edition that the challenge rating system in the monster manual is completely broken. I don't think it is broken. I think if you want to call it broken, it's broken on purpose. It is completely effed up so that the dungeon master doesn't have anything that is truly dangerous. I have taken a party of 14th level characters and thrown them, like 5 or 6 characters, 14th level, thrown them against an ancient dragon,
And they win.
and they win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might take, a good 20 rounds, but each round's only 6 seconds. They still kick the dragon's ass. And so it really irritates me when you see, Chris Perkins be on, some shit ass YouTube video saying things like, oh, well, if I run a dragon, I could take an ancient dragon and it'll wipe the floor with level 20 characters. The fuck it will, not unless you are cheating as a GM. There's no way. If you run it, out of the book, rules as written, that dragon's completely toothless.
And I roll in the open when I dungeon master. Yeah. So I mean, there's no covering up that nat 20 I just dropped in your face.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll go buy a D20 and I'll roll it in the party's face all night. I'm a rather lucky individual, so I'll get 20. I'll get streaky on your ass and start fucking characters up. But then at the end of the game, the session, I'll be like, okay, I want everybody to take a moment and think about who role played their character the best. And then I'm going to count down to 3. I just want you to point at them. And if there's a tie, then we have a runoff or whatever. And whoever has most people point at them, I give them that die. Here you go. Yep. I just kicked your ass with this die all night. You can have it. It's a commemorative die. I've touched it a lot.
Yeah, I used to do similar thing, giving out inspiration. But, so when the UA came out for 1D&D, man, they ruined inspiration. Inspiration was okay the way it was. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was another type of reward to give out to players for good role play or whatever, right? And so, especially for good role play or coming up with a really good idea or whatever, you could reward them. And then 1D&D's UA came out, and they have changed. Humans get inspiration for fucking waking up in the morning. Literally, they went to bed, slept for 8 hours, and woke up, and they start the day with inspiration. I'm like, are you kidding me?
No,
I mean, I wish that was fucking true. Man, my life would be great if that was true.
Yeah,
I feel inspired if I can get out of bed. My back doesn't lock up on me.
I'm doing the Dragonlance campaign. It'll be my last D&D campaign for probably quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I felt when we finished Waterdeep. I was just like, yeah.
The water's changing, and the D&D 1 rule set is going to come out, and I'm kind of like, if I'm going to go all into a new fucking system and recalibrate everything, I'm going to go a different direction. And I'm kind of nostalgic about the days when I had a well, actually, it was a 2 hit point magic user that lived and continued to live for quite some time.
Somebody had posted on Twitter that they were going through their first Old School Essentials game with a magic user that ended up with 1 hit point.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's see how long we can make him last. I guess he made him last like through like 2 or 3 game sessions though. Like, yeah, you know, if you play it smart and, you know, don't lead with your chin.
Yeah. You got to fucking think about what you're doing, and you got to speak the fuck up.
Right.
Because you'll fuck around and get narrated into some melee combat if you don't fucking, you know.
Right.
Yeah. The dungeon master that I'm playing Dragonlance with, he likes to narrate you into some battles, and I'm like, motherfucker, I got 120-foot range with firebolt. If I see them, I'm shooting the firebolt way before they get up here.
Right.
You know, it's not my fault if the fucking fighter only carries a sword. It'll take a long time for that to be interesting.
Yeah,
but,
it's not my fault. You know, the fighter's name is Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? My fireball's got 100-foot range on it. You know, I mean, fuck. You know, let me launch some fuckers off.
Right? Yeah. No, I always try to avoid that. I try to always give you guys, you know, options. And I'm a big believer in player agency. There are times, I will say, where you run into a situation where you try to give the players agency, and you throw out the scenario, and you get nothing but crickets back. There's like dead silence, like the dead flies are dropping off of people, and you're like, what's going on? Wait, did my mic shut off? What's going on? And so nobody has any ideas, and so you have to kind of, you can't give them too many hints, you know, what to do, because that destroys the whole plot. And then, you know, so sometimes you just kind of got to make shit happen kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, one thing we learned last week, that if you let me and Keith wander off on our own, we're going to start some shit.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Yep. Yeah.
Hello, Cameron and Devin. Hello, Kevin.
Hey.
Howdy.
How's your migraine, Kevin?
Long gone, thankfully.
That is good. I had a dental appointment yesterday. I had to get some fillings, and my dentist evidently is a sadist, and so he's numb. The fillings themselves, getting the drill work didn't hurt. It was when he was giving me that damn shot, man. He jammed that shot, and he didn't get, you know, usually they're like, oh, we want to get the injection as close to the nerve as possible. No, he stuck the motherfucker right into the nerve. And felt that, you know, it's in the back of my jaw, and it felt like he was driving a dull nail through my lip.
It's like being electrocuted.
It's like electric. It radiates. That's happened to me once. It really sucked.
Yeah, and it took everything I had to not jerk away from him, because I'm like, oh, that friggin' hurts, man. Like, okay, well. And he's like, oh, well, that'll...
My hand just up to my face when that happened to me. There was no way I could stop it. It was like, I don't know, a survival instinct or something.
Right. Right, and he goes, I'm really sorry about that, but you know what? It sounds like we got it right on the nerve, so, you know, your face will numb up pretty quick. Like, yeah, it did. I mean, I'll give him that. The big downside is that as it lasted. So my problem is that I'm really tolerant to Novocaine and pain meds, and so usually they have to use more than they do with other people, and then it wears off. If they tell you that, oh, well, you know, it's going to last like 3 hours, no, mine will be done in like an hour, and so it starts to wear off, and because he had gotten it right on the nerve, yeah, it lasted like 3 hours, no shit this time, but then as it started to wear off, it felt like my lip there was a tickle there that I had to itch, but I couldn't feel my lip, so itching it did no good. And it just sat there for like 45 minutes of like pure torture of this, you know, itch that you can never scratch kind of thing.
Like an armless dude that has like an itch in his elbow, but he has no arm, you know?
Right, yeah, phantom limb pain. Yeah, so weird. Yeah,
we're going to explore that as soon as I can talk Captain into cutting someone's arms and legs off.
Welcome to Pirates of Drinax. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. If I remember, you guys left Tryaoke. You were heading towards Eala and then Hteakya, and you were going to head up through Guildhall to Colony 6. And so we will be following that entire journey as they make it. And there are some particularly interesting scenarios that will be taking place. But before we get started, we'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. If you, I'm sorry, these aren't sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. Tonight, we would like to thank Dogmight Games. Dogmight Games makes beautiful wooden accessories for your tabletop role-playing games, such as wooden DM screens, dice vaults, dice trays, dice towers. They have this really cool thing called the Player Vault. You should totally check that out, especially if you're a player. I don't know if it would be so great for DMs, but maybe? I don't know, because you could, like, put notes and stuff on it. Anyways, all of their items can be customized. If you order something that's customized, it will usually ship within 6 to 8 weeks from the time of purchase. But they have an entire selection of things that they have already in stock. And so if you're in a hurry, just check out their inventory. And those items usually ship within 1 to 2 business days from time of purchase. If you have not purchased from them before, we do have a code. Good for 10% off everything on their website. Just put whatever you want to order into your cart. And when you check out, you can use code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will net you 10% off on your order. If you are a fan of our Wednesday Night Traveler Pirates of Drinax campaign, we do have a website via Obsidian Portal. The link is in the description down below. In fact, I finally updated the adventure log, which is written in the manner of Traveler News Service articles. There is a new article down there right now, and the news articles detail things that are going around all over the Trojan Reach region. Sometimes stuff filters in from outside. In fact, there's going to be some outside stuff filtering in fairly soon, and that's kind of going to be for some crossover stuff between my Wednesday and Friday night games. So yeah, that will be filtering in. And yeah, if you like what you read, please go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see those fan likes, and we hope you enjoy. If you, as you may have heard before, when we first started the stream, we were talking about old school essentials, and if you are a fan of that game, we do have a entirely new campaign setting out that is available on DriveThruRPG and Big Geek Emporium. It is called the Brawnhaven campaign setting. It is fairly well supported with adventures, and there's a new adventure. Thinking that it may be actually done and ready for editing tomorrow, so it should be going up fairly soon. But yeah, go to DriveThruRPG and search for Brawnhaven, and all of that should come up. In fact, the Brawnhaven campaign setting, I just got word today that the hardback book, print-on-demand book, is now available for me to order a proof, which I plan to do tomorrow. And once I approve the proof, then that will be available for sale. And I'm going to I'm going to sell. If you buy the hardback copy, you get the PDFs and digital map files for free. So definitely check it out. So where we left off, you guys were leaving Tryaoke. I believe you guys had made your jump. And you were heading for a blank space. Nothing's going to happen in a blank space. So we're just going to skip ahead to you coming out in Eala. And, I don't know much about Eala. What does it say? It may not say much of anything.
It's really just a system of floating treasure and gas.
Yes,
yes. We're going to load up with treasure and fuel and just continue on.
Yeah, there's just nothing but... oh, that's weird. This book doesn't have an index. There's just a bunch of floating treasure chests all around the planet. Yeah. And,
we've got like 5 golden keys. We can randomly pick out some treasures.
Right, yeah. Completely. Maybe Oh, wait. There's Elah. Oh, it's just outside. Never mind. So, anyways, I've got my Glorious Empire book here, and I was looking to see if it shows Elah, but it doesn't list it because it's just outside of that Glorious Empire corridor. Their little sliver of paradise that they have left. So you guys reach Elah, and you're really just here. I think you were just planning on, immediately jumping once again. Keith, was it Keith that's making the astrogation check? Somebody was making it.
Yes.
Go ahead and make an astrogation plus intellect check. And Ting, you can make a electronics comms plus intellect or education check.
That is 14.
Okay.
No, I rolled really well.
8.
Okay.
I got some stuff done. I pushed buttons.
Okay. So yeah, you push some buttons, and you weren't actively scanning out Elah. There is a bit of traffic around it. Elah, like other planets in the Halai chain, has kind of a similar situation. There's humans on the planet. They don't know what they're going to do with them. But there is quite a few Herate trade ships that are coming in and out. Out of this mess of communications, you pick up a transmission that is being not necessarily transmitted directly to the Bad Betty, but it is addressed to you, and it is from a Aslan trade ship. What kind of trade ship? It doesn't. It just says it's a trade ship. So I am going to guess that it is a it's not a very big trade ship. But the message is essentially from a Aslan commander named Tryaoke, and he is the first thing that he's basically calling out for the Bad Betty. Are you going to identify yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the transponder's not doing that anyway.
True, but I mean, there's quite a bit of traffic, but I mean, space is big, so I mean, you should be able to pick it out. So you identify yourself, and I
guess I'll ask permission first.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're. May I respond, Captain? They're asking.
You're in charge of this part of the ship. Go for it.
Yeah, this is the Bad Betty. Yep. Just let you know, this week we've got a special on. We're doing a windectomy. If you know somebody that has their head up their ass, this will let them have a clear view, because we'll put a window in their abdomen so they can see while they have their head up their ass.
They can see where they're going.
Yeah.
So, Tryaoke tells you that he has been charged by the Hrahra Triumvirate to destroy you. And he was actually told by them to attack you on sight, but he has a serious problem with that. He follows a very literal form of Fatir, which is the Aslan honor code, and it is dishonorable to attack a foe without telling them first. So
you plan on attacking us anyway?
What is that? You're breaking up. I can't.
Prank caller. So he tells you. He says, so he's telling you that not now, but next time that he sees you, he will destroy you. But He says before he does that, he wants to let you know that you have a spy aboard that has been broadcasting your position every time you've come out of jump. He says the weird thing is that I did not get that signal when you came out of jump this time.
How about we meet in a circle and discuss this like true warriors?
Ooh. Do that in the background.
Talk about honor.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting. Yeah, he would well, he cannot accept one-on-one combat because the order is for all of you, the entire ship. Not just you guys, like all the refugees. The entire ship needs to be obliterated. And he tells you why. So he tells you that the belief with the Hteakya triumvirate is that, so the Glorious Empire, even if the Aslan Herate was to completely obliterate the Glorious Empire, the Glorious Empire fully believes that their legacy would live on through their slaves. Their slaves are forever changed by living in the environment that they've lived in. And the Triumvirate's attitude towards this is, well, then fuck the Glorious Empire. We'll just go ahead and kill the slaves too. No refugees, nothing. Kill them all and obliterate every vestige of the Glorious Empire that has ever existed.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they kind of have a point, because you guys spending some time with these refugees, you've realized most of them speak Tryaoke more fluently than they do Galanglic. Their Galanglic is broken at best.
Yeah.
They follow Aslan religious practices, going to the shrine and meditating on their ancestors and etc. They follow the Aslan honor code. They if they are insulted, they get into a one-on-one combat to first blood, and then the matter is dropped. I mean, they act more Aslan than they do human.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see what's the gist of what they're saying. They're not entirely wrong. I mean, this is a nuclear option, but they are not entirely wrong.
Well, see, we're an honorable people too, but deep down, we're business people, and if you're worried about these crazy freakoid humans that are socially unacceptable anymore these days, trust me, we understand that. It's just any place where our connections could let us put these people is kind of a good distance away is the problem. I mean, we don't really have to be enemies in this. If you're just, dead set on being our enemy, then let's just meet in a circle. And then if you're really that badass of a warrior, you'll leave my dead corpse in the circle. Let's do it butt naked.
No, he can't. He commends you on your challenge, but he's incapable of accepting it.
Is the problem?
He's incapable of accepting it. The entire ship and everybody and everything on board is ordered to be destroyed.
Wow. Well, I appreciate the heads up, then.
But he also tells you, you are not my enemy. This is just and I too am a businessman, and I too am a military man, and unfortunately, orders are orders. I believe under different circumstances we would be friends.
Probably the same people that gave you an order to kill us, they sent me a message and told me about that idiot that was trying to stash a transponder in our engine room, and we spaced that shit.
Oh, good, you found that. That was very dishonorable of them.
Oh, it wasn't that we found it. Your guys told us. They sent a message. It was a crazy ship talking stuff just like you. You've got a leak in your inner council, sir. How honorable is that?
Make a deception plus. Make a deception plus intellect check.
Let me look at my character sheet so I can get this right. Do I get to plus intellect, you said?
Yes.
All right. So, all right. Well, we'll get some bonuses, but it won't be optimal. But Ting is a lying motherfucker. Here we go. 6.
Yeah.
I pause a lot. That sounds fucked up coming out of my mouth. It's got to be lost in translation.
Yeah, he's not sure that he truly believes that.
Yeah, I didn't believe it either. I don't trust him.
Make who's running sensors?
That's me as well.
Oh, you can do both, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and
I
make
can do the sensors, comps, computer.
Go ahead and make a sensors plus intellect check or education, your choice.
13. Told you. I know how to work scanners.
So you see another small craft moving out of the traffic pattern that's heading for Eola's orbital ports, and it is on an intercept course with Bad Betty. And let me...
And we've refueled?
I don't believe that you need to. Bad Betty's got
really
what?
We could just go ahead and
3?
go,
It could do 3 jumps.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the astrogation to be done. That's all.
Right, yeah. Keith's just working on astrogation. And
right. Well, if that's the case, well, how about this? All right. Next time you meet us, you've got a superior ship and blah, 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 missiles, guns, all those things. But why don't you talk to your people and see if they'd be interested in really putting the hardships aside and just creating a trade route that'll be profitable for everybody?
He says,
I've got friends in far and low places that can really make you guys, come out better. You might actually be able to defend your stuff. Talking high tech level stuff.
He's not the person that would be dealing with that.
But
I mean, he totally sees the value in what you're saying, but he's just simply he's not that person. He is a Aslan military commander who's been ordered to do something. Now, and I mean, you wouldn't be able to find anything out, but he will straight up tell you that he is not a
diplomat.
He is not a well-liked commander among the triumvirate, and the reason is exactly what he is doing now. Right
now, he's got honor, and the rest of the glorious empire people don't.
Well,
the key to this guy is Rexar, who's not here.
Right. Well, it's not even so much that he has honor; it's that he has such a literal sense of the Aslan honor code that it makes his commanding officers, they don't like him because he'll tip his hand before making an attack. And their belief is that, well, if they already know that you're a human crew, and so they don't really believe that you really are deserving, I guess, of that level of honor. I mean, if it was like another Aslan, then that's different. But in this case, not so much. Also, you have to keep in mind that, so like when Aslan clans go to war with one another, they actually have a little powwow where they get together and they decide, what level of combat are they going to do. And so usually the most honorable one of them, it's whoever, the one comes out ahead who is willing to use the least assets. And so usually these battles end up being they call them like limited wars or whatever, where, maybe a couple of guys will end up maybe getting killed, usually not. And the one who uses the least amount of forces is seen to have the bigger, the more honor. But with the Glorious Empire, the Empire's attitude has always been what they call total war. They don't back down from anything. If you want to get into a fight with us, then we will throw every single piece of hardware we possibly have, including our eye teeth and our toenails, to kill you. And so every single battle between the Herate and the Glorious Empire is a total war. And so it's leaving these planets completely devastated.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah.
This is the ship that he is piloting. It's a small 300-ton trader.
Let's run into it. Just smash it.
I mean, if we had the Capricin or the Anubis here, I mean, we would be sticking something in that guy's anus right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're
this bullshit ship.
This is the stats that his trader ship has. So he's got 2 double turrets with beam lasers and a double turret with a missile rack and a sandcaster. So it's kind of heavily armed for a trader. But I mean, Aslan ships, they're usually beefy and the gun part.
We've got a thrust of what, 2?
You have a thrust of 2.
Okay, so all right, cool. We don't have to get within this guy's range. We can just stay a far distance. This other ship closing in on us. Is that going to get within weapons range before we jump again? Is one assessment of this?
That is what I do.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Man, we might need to pick up shenanigans as an escort.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll get word to him though.
We can go there.
Oh, geez.
We're on our way there.
Okay, yeah. All right. Duh. Man.
I'd much rather get into a fight while I'm on the shenanigans than in this bullshit.
Right.
Petty.
Yeah, you feel like you're probably a little you stand out like a sore thumb kind of thing.
That's him right there, and piece of shit.
Oh,
Shit.
I don't. Do I not have? Interesting. Interesting. Okay, this will work.
That is us.
Yes.
So, were you just making the pirate flag for fun, or?
I was thinking about. I'm thinking about doing a T-shirt for you guys and throwing it onto the Zazzle store with the other stuff. Because I mean, we don't have anything for our Traveler games. I'm like, well, that would be kind of cool to have a T-shirt. So I was like, but I don't have anything that isn't, essentially, copyrighted material from Mongoose. And I'm like, it'd be kind of cool if we had something of our own. And since it's your group, I figured, why don't have you guys make the pirate flag? And I thought like a black T-shirt with a pirate flag on it would be pretty fucking badass.
Well, that graphic I sent you, I made. So
yeah,
just
and
make
Cameron
it
made hers. So I mean,
either one.
We could do both of them. I mean,
yeah.
You guys have so many transponders.
That's true.
Yeah. The idea with mine is I'm gonna blow your face off.
Yeah, could do one for shenanigans and one for Anubis.
Yeah. And hers look like the nuke. Wham! Which is also.
Yeah, that was badass. I was like, is that a mushroom cloud?
Yeah.
I didn't realize the camera was so violent.
Yeah.
We
Well,
named the guy that one time. That's what made me think of doing that.
Right.
I was trying to think of how to modernize a pirate
yeah.
flag. I was like, yeah, nukes are pretty contemporary.
Oh yeah.
Did that
Maybe
one.
maybe a skull with a couple of nuclear missiles crossed, but below it.
Good
You know.
idea.
Yeah. And a cloud behind it. Oh yeah.
There
Yeah,
you go.
that would be cool, and maybe some kind of weird off colored like a fluorescent orange or something weird, just kind of off, make the eyes and shit glow. Like the evil devil pictures and shit usually have the evil dark red, but change that up with something light and whimsical. Yeah.
So the other ship that is coming towards you is a Hteakya scout class ship. You guys have seen these before. In fact, Rexar actually owns one. They're small scout ships that are designed, specifically for Hteakya, which are landless males that are out looking for new land. But this is the ship that is approaching, that has left the flight pattern and is kind of approaching you.
Shit.
They do have a triple turret full of pulse lasers, so even at 100 tons, this thing's gonna have a sting to it.
I guess I'm gonna ask it what it's doing.
So you're gonna radio it?
Well, hell yeah. Hey, you're rolling up on me kind of hard. You gotta let a guy have some room to piss here. What's going on?
Okay.
You don't use the stall right next to a person. You fuck up.
So, oh my gosh, hold on here. It's so funny because we get into so little space combat.
Yeah. Hopefully we are taking a hard turn away from them. I should probably throw a nice sensors lock on their ass while they're rolling up on us. Don't know.
Well, first,
we're gonna do initiative on this shit.
So Beth, go ahead and roll 2D plus your piloting skill, and then you can add 2 to that for your ship's thrust score.
You get tactics and shit too, right?
Yeah. So Beth, do you want to make a tactics naval check?
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about, Captain.
That's a good idea, and it's right here on that page too.
Oh yeah, I've read the pages a couple times.
Yeah, so have I. But we do so little space combat because space combat's so kludgy and potentially deadly that
yeah.
You guys tend to do more running than you do shooting. Pow pow shoot 'em ups.
Well, now, hey, we shot a whole shitload of nukes up that fucking Corvette's ass the other day.
That's true.
That was not running there. We sent that son of a bitch home with a glow between his legs. Gave him something a shot can't get rid of. What I'm saying.
It had images in it.
Is it not letting you put in?
Okay, I closed the Skype window on accident. I rolled tactics and I got like 13. So what does that do?
So a 13, it says, in addition to the commander of each vessel, may make a tact check at the start of the battle. The effect of this check is added to the initiative. So 13. So you can add a +5 to your initiative check. So so roll 2D plus piloting skill plus the thrust score of 2 and add 5 to it.
Sweet, because I got 8 on that roll, and so
we'll be at 7 then.
Well, no, wait, no, well, yeah, initiative works different here. So what was your 2D roll plus your piloting skill?
plus my piloting skill was. I'm sorry, I have to do math backwards. It was 5 then, because
Okay.
then I added 1 for my piloting, and you said add 2 more.
So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you
And
got
I-
a 12 total.
Okay,
So
Excuse me.
Hteakya, I guess we're gonna make a roll for him. Where's my dice winder?
At least we have a laser installed now, and we have an auxiliary ship that has a gun on it too. I mean, I think medium range is our weapons range. If they get one more closer, we could technically shoot at them. I think. Don't quote me on that at all.
Let's see. Well, I'll do the Hteakya show first because he is right here. 3.
Oh, I like that glow of the dice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Hteakya. Ugh. Damn you, Hteakya. Okay, so let's see here.
Keep rolling 6s.
So we are in
we are in trouble.
So we are in the maneuver step. In order of initiative, each ship maneuvers based on its thrust. So, Beth, you have 2 thrust. You can choose to maneuver away or close the gap between you and the Hteakya show that is pulling up on you. Tryaoke said the next time that he sees you that he would destroy you. He hasn't done anything yet. So, do you want to move away from them, or do you want to close the gap?
If somebody else destroys us, is that dishonorable to Tryaoke?
Well, this is going to be a very interesting thing. You're going to find out something on his turn.
All right.
I think we should head off in this direction.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't want
Yeah, somewhere over that way. And that way, if the guys engage each other, we can either kill the winner or help.
So then one of the questions that I have is, do you want to spend 2 thrust points moving away, or do you want to only use 1 and save 1 as a evasive action point?
I want to save 1 for an evasive action point, and I'm gonna aim kind of like in between the 2 ships, so that hopefully, if they're both pursuing me, they'll see each other.
Okay, so right now they are at long range from you, and you're moving in this direction, which puts them like here, and puts them right at like the edge of very long. And that puts Tryaoke like right here now. Oh, no. Put him like right here. Okay. So that was your maneuver phase. The Hteakya show. They are going to match your speed, which allows them to get back to where they were. And Tryaoke let's trust. He's going to Move this way. Okay, hold on. Let me double check this. Oh, yeah, no, he'll say, no, he is an idiot. He's going to go there. Which would mean Hteakya is right there. Now, the next turn, or the next phase, is the attack step. Now, you have, if I remember correctly, Bad Betty had a fixed mount pulse laser on the front and a fixed mount pulse laser on the rear. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's my recollection as well.
Yes.
Okay. Let me grab this book and look at DOS weapons.
Am I not able to try to put a sensor lock on them before we start shooting?
That would be under the third phase.
All right.
So when we get to the third phase, you can do things like throw a sensor. The sensor operator can do a sensor lock, things like that. So on next turn or on next round,
Makes sense.
That
Okay.
would give you the lock.
Yeah.
At least that's what their order of operations here is. I'm not entirely, I'm just gonna freeform this a little bit better. So, yeah, I mean, go ahead and make a electronic sensors check.
Thank you.
I'm not a big fan of their space combat rolls. I think that it can flow a lot better than that.
Well, 10. That, in theory, that's a lock.
That is a lock, and that would give a +2 to whoever is operating the guns. And you guys, who is operating the guns?
Isn't that Osk?
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay, go ahead and make a. I guess it is a gunnery plus
Gunner turret?
Yeah, gunner turret plus dex check. And wait, I forgot what I was looking at here. I wanted to find.
Yeah.
You guys wish you had a pulse laser barbette. That is not what I'm looking for. These guns look awfully big. That's not barbettes. Jesus. Here we go. Pulse laser has a long range. You can definitely hit him and does 2d damage. So go ahead and make your shot, and you get a +2 due to sensor lock.
Okay, adding 2. Submit. Looks like it's an 11.
That is a hit with a +1 to damage.
And you said it was how many dice?
2d.
2D. Yeah, could be better. Okay, there's a 10 on the straight dice roll. +1 would be 11.
Okay. Oh, wait. And his armor. Are you shitting me? Okay. So Hteakya shows don't have any armor on them. These guys they're the TIE fighters of the Aslan Empire. Which means I believe that means a critical. Because you definitely penetrated his stuff. Let me look on my sheet.
Well, they never did talk. I asked him what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah,
So,
no.
I mean,
He
yeah.
was moving into attack is what he was doing. I guess so, here we go.
I think, do we have anybody that can fly the little Betty and shoot its front forward thing?
Oh, I'm sure
So
you
we
do. But I mean, you don't necessarily need to. You can. The problem is that, well, no, you guys had just come out of jump. I mean, you could just say, you know what, see you, bye. And on your next turn, Keith I'm going to press the big red button and jump.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the best thing to do.
So,
Probably.
so Ox roll 2D.
2D coming up. 4 and a 3, 7.
Okay.
Lucky 7.
Fuel tanks. Fuck you. Should have had your monologue before we started shooting.
Yep, you hit the hull. So he takes the damage directly to his hull. What does it say? Oh. Ooh, roll another 1D for damage.
2.
So he takes an additional 2 points of hull damage. Because you effed him up pretty good. He, well, actually, I guess the question then is, Beth, what, well, Beth already went because she was flying. Keith,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Are you just gonna jump and leave him, or?
Am I done with my astrogation check?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could theoretically on this round you could transfer power. You could make a engineering power plus intellect or education check to transfer power to the jump drive. Now here's the downside of doing that. That means on the next turn you would have to make some decisions about where that power is going to go, because keep in mind you do have a whole, I mean, yes, you have batteries, backups, and whatnot. So you could theoretically, for a limited amount of time, put your low berths in a little bit of jeopardy by putting them on battery backup and transferring power to the drives, and then thus leaving Ox the ability to fire his lasers, and leaving Ting the ability to operate sensors and maintain the sensor lock. Or you could just say, I'm shutting everything down. We're dumping all the power to the drives so that on the next round, we can jump.
Can't he just take the power to jump from the batteries?
No, they're directly hooked up to the low berths.
Oh well, that was a bad decision.
Well, the batteries are there in case of situations like this, so that you can just say, "Hey, we're going to put them on."
Oh, yeah, I get that. I was,
Yeah, we want to keep them alive. That's half the point of being here.
That's the
But
theory.
if the ship gets blown up, then 0 of them are alive. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
and right now we just have to kill a couple reporters and send them out into space. That's the wrap.
Well, the reporters already left on their scout ship. Hence the news article about the genocide on Tryaoke.
Oh, right on. Okay, so we are no longer associated with the reporters?
No, well, they're gone reporting on the genocide that happened on Tryaoke, and their plan is to meet up back with you at Colony 6.
Okay, and I still have the camera remote drones. Then
yes, you do.
Guy. Oh well, that's beautiful.
You have
beautiful
one
thing.
camera remote, and of course, your creeper droid.
Yeah, I do like
Captain,
toys.
what do you think I should do? Should I divert power?
Sure. You're the engineer.
Okay, let's get ready.
Captain, I cannot do it. It's going to take me 8 hours. It'll take you like 1. It's going to take me 9 hours in order to transfer power. That's what I learned when I was doing computer tech work, is to always do a Scotty. If something will take you 2 hours, tell the customer it'll take 10. Because if you do it in a less amount of time, they think you are a god.
That's very true. 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the lights kind of dim, and Keith is maneuvering power back and forth. Your consoles kind of flicker for a second as he is transferring power to the jump drive, and you feel it more than you can hear it, as all of this power starts getting dumped into the fusion, or from the fusion reactor to the jump drive. There's just this like vibration in the air of the ship as this old bucket gets ready to prepare for a jump. The Haunty Show is going to shoot 3 pulse lasers.
We want to use that movement point to dodge.
I'm sure that you do. And so...
I believe, at least.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge. I just talk a lot.
So how does that work? Surprise, maneuver, step, movement, combat maneuvering. Any remaining thrust that has not been allocated for movement may be used for combat maneuvering. 1 point of thrust allows a ship to do one of the following. You can aid the gunners, docking, or evasive action. This would fall under that. Any remaining thrust can be used as a reaction to dodge incoming fire. This is covered on page 171. Scroll. Reactions. Evasive. Pilot of a spacecraft may dodge incoming attacks so long as the spacecraft has unspent thrust. Each point of unspent thrust will allow the spacecraft to attempt to dodge 1 attack. This attack suffers a negative DM equal to the pilot's roll. So Beth, you can make a piloting plus dex check. The effect of that will be a negative DM to his attack.
At an 8. Or wait, actually, it's 10 with the piloting.
So he is at -2, which puts him at a flat 0. Let's see if he can hit you. No, he misses. So you guys see these 3 pulse lasers, kind of just narrowly go over your bow as Beth kind of rolls the ship and just dodges it. Tryaoke is not having any of that. And what did I say? Yeah.
And now the question is, who's this guy shooting?
Yeah, you're about to find out.
Yeah, I figured.
He yeah, he's gonna go with his 2 beam lasers. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 beam lasers. So well, first of all, this guy gets to make a piloting check. And he fails in his evasive maneuver check, so Tryaoke
stabilizes the platform for the ship to shoot it.
Yes, and hits 2D plus 3 for beam lasers for 12. And that is another critical hit.
Damn, he's having a bad day, man.
Yes, he is. Critical table.
I want to tell the pilot of the Hey C show, your failure today is a matter of genetics. And your parents.
An 8. He hits his maneuver drive.
Yeah, your mom and dad were not fit for mating.
All control checks are at a -1 for him.
She's having a bad day.
Yeah.
We're going to get the fuck out of here and just let y'all figure it the fuck out.
So, Bad Betty. Beth, what would you like to do?
We want to get out of here.
So, well, I mean, that's Keith's job. So you're ordering people to get out. You could. Do you have leadership? I think you do.
Yeah, I got some leadership, but if I roll bad, then it makes it worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
bad?
With the update 2022, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. It's not a bane or a boon anymore. It's just a plus or a minus.
Oh, okay.
So leadership, Yeah. If you make a leadership roll, you can. The effect is the plus or the minus that you can give to any number of crew up to that amount.
Oh, okay. Let's see. 5. That's not going to help anything.
So that actually gives the Hteakya show a +3.
See, this sucks. Why did I train anybody?
But we're leaving anyway, right?
Right, yeah, so you're leaving anyway.
It doesn't really matter.
Ting, what do you want to do?
I've still got the laser lock on my Hades show. You know, and I mean, I guess if we're about to jump on out and we're working on that and everything, I'll be like, you know, fuck you. I can tell you the lock, you know.
Ox, yeah. Do you want to take one more shot?
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah.
So
this might give you a slight tape
+2 on it for his lock?
Correct.
Okay, here we go again. Add 2. Submit. 11.
Okay, that is 2D +3.
2D +3. Here's 2D. 5 +3 is 8.
Ouch. And roll 2D.
8.
Oh no, you hit that maneuver drive again. This guy is really boned. All checks to control spacecraft suffer an additional -1, and his thrust is reduced by -1. So he went from 2 down to 1 for his thrust. Oops, that's not really what I want.
And he still hasn't said anything back? He's just...
Nope. He is... Unlike Tryaoke, he is taking the orders literally. The orders were, when the ship is seen, destroy it. They didn't really... The Triumvirate... The feeling that you get is the Triumvirate doesn't want their soldiers to talk to you. They don't want you to try and convince them that this is dishonorable. You feel like the Triumvirate probably knows that Rexar's aboard your ship, and that he would be like, this is dishonorable, and here's why, and blah, 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 Aslan, blah, blah. And so they were like, don't talk to him, just follow orders. Whereas Tryaoke, he is a by the books. He's a paladin through and through, man. He does.
We might be able to convert him to something if we played our cards right. But right now, he's just having his way with this other little ship.
Ooh, Tryaoke hits, and then we're gonna have Keith's turn. Tryaoke hits him. Let's see if this guy even lives. He does not. The Tryaoke hits him with 4 beam lasers, and you see this Hteakya show just come apart. The whole ship just explodes. Shrapnel flying everywhere. And the last message that you get from Tryaoke is, it would be against my honor to allow another ship to destroy you. You're mine. Keith, you can go ahead and make your J drive plus intellect or education check. And I don't remember, what'd you get on your power check?
On my power check, I got 11, I believe.
So that's a +3 to your J drive plus intellect or education.
Okay. That's 17.
Yeah. So you jump. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Got to me before I could mute the mic. So yeah, you guys jump. you know. Now, where there? So that puts you at Hteakya here. I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but you know what? I'm going to stick with it. And the question is, are you so? Well, I guess the question is, I should look and see exactly how far Bad Betty can jump. I think I want to say that it's 3, but it might be less than that. Let's see here. Boarding the Bad Betty. Flight of the Bad Betty. This is the entered fuel bladders. Yeah, I believe you can make 3 jumps. So at this point, you may want to refuel. Then the question is, are you going to land on Hteakya, or are you going to do wilderness refueling at the gas giant? Okay. Now, wilderness refueling is a difficult piloting check, so it would be 10 plus.
I don't think I'm going to bet on being able to do that. And isn't shenanigans on Hteakya?
It is.
Yeah, so we land anyway, I think.
Maybe we ought to take shenanigans on our trip to go scout the planet and figure out where we're going to stick these. Maybe take a small number of the leadership of this human tribe and say, look, bumbling about in this bullshit ship is not going to do a lot for anything. But we have a ship. We can go negotiate and get you all situated, and then bring the Betty in. Maybe hire some people to fly the little ship that has a gun in case we get into it.
The only thing I can think of that's a reason not to is that we probably won't be able to evacuate as many humans as exist. So the sooner we get them over to wherever they're going, the better. Yeah, because if we scouted the other place and it had worked out, then that's all the way there and then all the way back and then all the way there. So
right.
That's the only other reason I can think of.
We can stop and talk it over with our in-planet system lord. Maybe have a hunt or something, a few drinks.
So we can jump straight to Colony 6 in shenanigans. 1 jump.
Oh.
And then jump back.
Oh, okay.
So it would take us the same amount of time to get back here as it would for us to get there once.
Well, I had not realized that. So never mind. Your plan is good then, team, because the math worked out. So
I do like math, Captain.
Okay, so yeah, you could. So, are you going to take Lenka and Ilum with you? That's basically their leadership, and I guess I should look at shenanigans.
Now, there was another thing that kind of caught my eye while we're in this area. that Go Trail. I get it. It's Amber Zone, psionic breeds,
run by the
and all that.
Church of Nom.
Right, but I mean, God, man, if they do have Sindelian ships on mothballs, at least sending some kind of communication to that church and trying to establish a contact might pay off in future negotiations. And maybe if we do hit that system, at least when we're doing the refugees or something, God, man, if there's Sindelian ships just sitting there, Captain,
pretty tempting.
That's
Well, and
I love ships.
the other place that has Sindalian ships, and I'm not sure if it's it is. Birney has a fleet of Sindalian ships as well. Over here. And Birney, they are basically known as the last vestiges of the Imperial Star Guard of Sindal, and which is funny because they've just been sitting there, basically doing nothing, and waiting for the new Emperor of Sindal to, say, okay, Sindal's back, in order. And then Birney will be like, okay, we follow you.
We have his DNA, by the way.
Do you?
We got the old bearded guy's DNA. The vegetable.
Oh, right. I forgot about
vegetable farmer.
Yes, the vegetable farmer.
Yeah, I got a sample of his hair. I got his DNA.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's not really going to do you a whole lot of good. But I will tell you this. That is going to play out in the future.
A little genetic manipulation and a bio reaction chamber. Got one that has enough to make a fetus out of.
No, we just need to graft his hair to your head so that your hair that grows has his DNA. And then when they want to test it, we just give them that specifically.
We can sure try that.
Really,
I'm not sure that's how it works. But okay.
Maybe
bone marrow, but why not hair?
Yeah, sure.
Tried before, I guess.
Oh, we could change out my saliva glands, so that way they could do a swab, and I mean, I've got augmented eyes, so a retro, that I can get out, I can get by with that. Maybe a big skin graft if we could just grow me a new skin to wear as a suit.
Maybe we should get an android and give it the skin suit. So like shit goes awry, it's not like a big deal. Tech world up.
So shenanigans. There's only 4 of you. Shenanigans would allow you to take 5 other people with you. It has, and that's if you're not doubling up on staterooms. And so I mean, it's got 9 standard staterooms. So you could take 5 passengers, or you could take 10 passengers if you wanted to double them up.
I'll let the tribe people decide if they want to double up and have more numbers, or if they want a big spacious room.
But they need to stop that crap about just walking on past people when they're trying to make contact and everything. These people are clueless on where we're going into, and they need to stay back and allow for people to actually assess the situation.
So Lanka and Ilum agree with you on that front. They are extremely downtrodden at the entire situation of what happened to Tryaoke. They are everybody who isn't in anybody who's not in a low berth is depressed to the point of tears over not being able to land on their chosen promised land. But Lanka and Ilum can see the wisdom in what Ting is saying about they rushed into this. They can see that now, and they really they apologize. They thank you for putting up with them, and I would imagine at this point, you guys are basically, you've set a course for Hteakya. You're coming in from the 100 diameter jump limit, and you're sitting in this right in here in the common area, kind of talking with them, and they, Ilum and Lanka are like, you are totally right. We should have listened to you. We shouldn't have rushed into this. And because we rushed into it, we didn't know the dangers that were present. And, here we are now. And we're really hoping that Colony 6 will be suitable for us. But it won't be our promised land.
Yeah, well, we don't want your mopey group. If we've got to bring some people out of low birth or something,
somebody who's not depressed.
This is supposed to be a joyful occasion. Let's not worry about who killed who.
So Linka and Ilum, they don't mind doubling up. They would prefer to bring 10 of their people, and to scout out Colony 6. And if that's all right with you guys, they'll double up in the remaining staterooms. I mean,
sure.
It's not like you guys are going to double up in your own ship, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, but I just want to point out that the world they want to go to, that doesn't mean they'll never go there. It's just not right now. So, yeah.
Right.
Might just be in the future.
Yeah, go ahead and make a persuasion plus charm check on that. Your choice, either charm or soch.
Let's see here. What do I persuade? 6.
So they
not good.
Yeah, they're not persuaded, and the reason they're not persuaded is that their way of looking at it is that they wherever they decide to set down, that's where they're going to make their home. And I mean, realistic or not, that's their way of thinking.
Yeah, well, they need to understand that, because they're extremely uneducated in matters of different worlds and all of that, perhaps they should just take a moment and just do what they're told, just for a little while longer. Chill out. We'll tell you where to set your fucking home up, and you just thank us for it, and then you can you can be as free as you fucking want. But while we're jumping around in different systems, and while we're associated with you, you need to understand that we are in charge, and if you're going to come with us, you need to go ahead and verbally say that yeah you are in charge, and we will shut the fuck up until we're told where to set up, and just understand in all of this that we will ask your opinions on if you like things or if things are suitable, but you're going to have to let us set you up, because you are not capable of setting your own self up.
So Lenka, when you tell her that, Lenka kind of looks at the floor, and Ilum puts his hand on her shoulder, and he says, "But Mr. Ting, you or
no, I'm Jug.
Or yes, Mr.
Smack
Jug.
him upside the head. I'm Jug, bitch.
Mr. Don't say my real name out loud, Mr. Jug. You have to understand that we've been told what to do our entire lives. We're trying to learn to exercise our own freedom, but I will admit that you are correct. We are not educated or versed in the ways of space travel and the universe. This is all new to us. So yes, please take our apologies for rushing into things. We didn't realize that this was as dangerous.
We're not going to tell y'all to lick ass or anything. We're going to tell you to stay in your little area and chill out and relax. And if you want to pray to something or whatever, go ahead and do that. And we'll find you a spot, and then you can check it out and see if that's acceptable. But running out willy-nilly and trying to have a hoedown without talking to us first, that's just not really acceptable to us, because like it or not, you're only going to die once, and I'd prefer it to be into some kind of glorious thing with lots of hookers and a party, not with battle because you guys triggered some Aslan lord into doing genocide on us.
And he nods, and he says, "That is now understandable to us. He
Well,
says,
you haven't had the prostitutes yet, sir. So you don't understand.
He says that he and Lenka will go pick the 7 other individuals to join him and her, and that way they can, or I guess 8 other individuals, and they will await for you guys to land on Hteakya. Beth, go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check for your landing.
All right.
So wait, are we gonna land the Betty or are we gonna land the little Betty?
Well, on Hteakya, you can actually land the Betty because the atmosphere is dense enough that the Betty, or I'm sorry, is thin enough that the Betty can actually do that. On anything with a thicker atmosphere, the Betty falls like a rock.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
looks like we got a 7.
Okay. So, it's not bad enough that you take damage. It is a rather rough landing, but Beth seems to be able to get you down. There are a number of exclamations from the ground control of, oh my God, where did you learn to fly, and et cetera, but she gets you down. And you guys are able to transfer to Shenanigans. And I have to find Shenanigans. There it is. So you are on Shenanigans now. While you are on planet, of course, because you are basically working for the Aslan chieftain of this world, your fuel's on them. You don't even have to pay for it. Your docking fees are on them. And as you get off the ship, of course, you have to check in with customs and whatnot, and they all feel bad that you so far haven't succeeded in placing these refugees on a planet. But true to his word, the Shenanigans was well taken care of. They pull the tarps off of it and move it out of its sealed hangar, and it's ready for takeoff. It's fully fueled, ready to go.
He's cool with us taking the Shenanigans out and scouting the location before we take the big sluggish slow Betty.
As long as you're the one key thing is that the Betty, wherever you decide to put these refugees, has to be within 6 parsecs.
Right, but he's not fucked up about us switching ships or anything like that. Good.
They will hook the Betty up to external power. Well, they don't even need to. It's got a fusion reactor, so it doesn't matter. They'll just fuel it up, and the Betty will be basically put into the same mothballs where Shenanigans has been held until you come back to get her, and you can then start ferrying refugees.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Back to wherever it is that you pick.
Thank you.
All of you can make, so while you are in the process of filling out paperwork and things of that nature, all of you can make a streetwise check. And if you want to, do the streetwise check first.
Just straight up streetwise, no fun, anything else with it?
No, it would be streetwise plus intellect.
Killing me.
I got 7.
I got 8.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Okay.
3 was better than I piloted.
I got an 11.
So Ox and Ting, specifically Ox, you get a little bit of information about a couple of worlds that you guys have had some questions on. The first piece of information that you get, let me go back over here to my star map. the first piece of information that Ox gets is on Dostoevsky. Very Russian name. So you start to pick up rumors, in the starport. You guys, as they're pulling out shenanigans and moving Bad Betty into the closed hangar. You've got a little bit of time sitting around starport bars, sipping watered down cocktails, Aslan watered down cocktails, even better. Basically, tastes like beer with catnip sprinkled into it. And so you're picking up these bits and pieces of rumors, and the rumor that you pick up is about Dostoevsky. And Ox, you learn that Dostoevsky is you learn a couple of things. The first rumor that you hear is that Dostoevsky is no longer really considered an independent planet. It was independent across the board as far as government control. It is now considered a imperial protectorate. And you have learned, and you've seen on the maps, if you look at it, it has that there is a research station there. And the rumor on the street is that at the bottom of one of the oceans, the Imperials found an Imperial archaeological team found an ancient site. And they were quick to set up a research station there. And it's all very hush-hush. The rumor is that the people of Dostoevsky are not particularly happy with the Imperial presence.
Man, we need to get the Capricin before we go fucking around with it. We need to go back to being Ting and all of them to go up there and intervene with that, I would think.
So, Ting, you learn that about Sif. And this was the world that you guys had a lot of questions about, and nobody could really answer your questions. So, Sif has been a number of things to a number of people over the past 100 or 200, couple centuries. And at one point, there was an eco group that completely decided that the planet would be better off without any sophonts on the world at all, and they tried to not just remove people, but it got violent to the point where they were literally trying to do genocide because the ecology of the planet would do better without people, blah, 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 that kind of group. That didn't hold, and then another colony showed up, and it was never doing quite as well as it could. The fact of the matter is that Sif is a garden world. And then the group that was running Sif this last time decided, well, we're not getting anywhere with this, so we need to look for outside help. And they couldn't get anybody to help them. I mean, they're kind of way out in the middle of BFE. Until they talked to the group on Delta Theta. And Delta Theta is a planet that's basically run by the corporation Starlink Merchant Factors. And Starlink Merchant Factors was more than happy to come in and help set up Sif as a colony world. And they did so, and something weird happened. Not only did Sif take off, but all of those disparate groups on Sif all started working together to the point where Sif has now become like a diplomatic world. Different factions from all across the region, anything from Yggdrasil to the Glorious Empire to the Aslan Herate to different corporations and the Third Imperium from the Dust Belt, all come to Sif to meet and talk out their problems. And so,
man, we need a seat at that table.
So Sif has kind of become this big thing as far as, it is basically the Switzerland of the Trojan Reach, where deals are brokered there every day, but Sif doesn't necessarily benefit from those deals. It benefits from everybody showing up. And so they spend money there, they invest in the infrastructure of the planet, and every once in a while, Starlink Merchant Factors comes in and tries to throw their weight around. They're told to fuck off and leave, and they do. And so far, Starlink Merchant Factors is perfectly happy to just keep cashing the checks. Meanwhile, the people of Sif are doing quite well, and it's a fairly small colony on this garden world, maybe 900,000 people, but they're doing fairly well, and everybody seems to come here, and nobody wants to bomb it or take it over. They don't want to ruin this thing that they've got. So Sif is a pretty cool place.
We could go to Sif after Colony 6. If we're trying to go to Colony 6, we're really dead set on that. I'm not I mean,
if Colony 6 doesn't work out, we could definitely take the Bad Betty over to Sif and check it out.
Yeah.
We can't take Shenanigans easily there because we don't have a bladder.
Right.
A fuel bladder.
You could always purchase a fuel bladder though. Before you're still on Hteakya, you could purchase a fuel bladder for Shenanigans, which would give you another what did I say it was? Let's see. How much cargo space do you have?
No idea.
You've got 40 tons of cargo, so you could effectively add jump 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, that sounds like a wonderful idea.
How much would it run us?
That is a very good question.
I like Shenanigans. I'll give him stuff.
Yeah, Shenanigans is an awesome ally ship thing to have around. And the cool thing about Shenanigans is technically if we can get it in a system, it can pilot itself. And it can do its own thing. Just not very well and average. But I mean, for it going by itself, it just being a big robot, that's pretty cool.
So collapsible fuel tank, large flexible bladders that expand when filled with liquid hydrogen. They take up cargo space in the ship and are used to extend range without the need to fit mountable drop tanks. Fuel cannot be pumped directly from these tanks to the jump drive, so a ship must complete a jump before it can use these stored. It takes up 1% of tonnage used when full. Actually, it looks like it'll give you an extra jump too, is what this is saying. So you could do a jump 2, land in a blank square, and then do another jump 2 to wherever you want to go.
That would be amazing.
But it would take up 40 tons of your cargo space. So.
But how much do I pay?
Wait.
Use up our
wait. Maybe not. Hold on. I got to do some of the maths. Let's see here. So,
I mean, we're not really trading too much right now, anyway. But I mean.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh. 1% of tonnage used when full. So, no, it would take up 2 tons. That doesn't seem right.
2 tons when it's not full, and then it expands.
That's what I think this is an error. I think you're right. I think it would expand, because you're going to need at least 40 tons. Is it 40 tons?
It'll expand to the size of the fuel that we need to do. Like, if we got 20 tons of fuel,
right?
I think it'll expand to 20 tons. I mean, surely that has got to be what they're talking about.
I think you're right. What's it say? Empress Morava. is on page 169, I believe. Yep. Jump to 4 weeks of operation. It can process 40 tons per day. Yeah, no, it looks like 40 tons. So, well, hold on.
We might want to see about getting these people tents or a housing. Of
Well,
some sort.
it'll really depend on how much cargo space you're going to have left. Install drives. Here we go. Drives. Jump drive. Power plant. Install fuel tanks. Here we go. So, fuel tank. Fuel tank is needed for a jump drive is related to the size of the ship and the length of the ship as follows. 10% of the total tonnage of the ship multiplied by the maximum jump score of the drive. So that means you got jump to 200 tons and 0.10. Yep, 40 tons times 2 is 40 tons. So you need 40 ton of fuel bladder in order to make this jump. And that will run 500 credits. Right?
Okay.
500 credits a ton or 500 credits for the whole shit and caboodle?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. 500 per ton.
Okay, so it's 1,000 credits to buy this fuel bladder.
500 times 40.
Oh, okay. 500 times 40. Okay, so it's 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it.
And so does that take all of our cargo up, or do we have any left?
Looks like that it would take up all 40 tons of your cargo. Well, no, that's not entirely true. You have 3 tons of concealed compartments for smuggling. So you do have 3 tons of space that you can stick into nooks and crannies.
Right. Personally, I think we should see what we're up against here as far as Colony 6 and Sith, and decide later if we need, more shelter or something like that. We could shove it onto the Bad Betty somehow, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe could we buy some just some basic tents, like get a ton of just basic jungle survival crap.
Yeah.
Some tent barracks, maybe some portable stoves, whatever, just randomized bullshit. Because we know we're going to show up there, and if we dedicate like a ton and some money just to say, hey, here's some shit you can survive on while you for several weeks. Because the people that we're bringing with us, some of them are going to want to stay. So if we prepared for, maybe 7 or 8 people to survive on the thing, maybe some primitive weapons or some shit, for basic hunting or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you got a point.
So survival gear, probably your best bet is just to buy like an entire kit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking.
A survival kit and
So survival. If you get a improved survival kit, that's tech level 10. Those are 100 credits each, and I know there are tents and shit like that in here as well.
Yeah, they're down on page 124. It's got tent barracks and shit. It shelter up to 8 people for 500 credits. It's TL6.
Yeah.
I mean, we can grab one of those, blam, and a little survival kit that will have basic camping gear and all that bullshit, and go here. Stay here for a fucking month if you're fucking figured the fuck out.
I would say that you could even go so far as to do like prefabricated cabins if you wanted to. They're 2,000 credits each, and they only hold 4 people, but they're a little bit more sturdy.
And then some little cheap bullshit snub pistols and some assorted ammunition to give them that.
You could get 3 tons worth of that. Add all of the cost of that together and times the total by 100, and I would say that would cover 1 ton of survival supplies, what you're looking for.
All that kind of neat shit, so they can start. So so what is that? What we're just say $3,000?
Yeah, I would say $3,000 would get you 1 ton worth of survival shit.
Yeah, you get what Civilization starting bullshit package.
Yeah, Civilization starter kit.
Yeah, there. So there, $3,000 and a ton. We'll give it to these dumbasses and pat them on the back.
Assuming that you're going to drop them off somewhere.
Right, but I mean the purchasing of all the goods and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and whip out that remote control camera.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna film the processes of us doing the good deed of buying this shit.
Okay.
For these people, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And I'll even get, I'll even make it suspenseful, like, the captain is buying stuff for these people. What a humanitarian. And all that. I'll narrate for it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and because I've got a shriek box, I'll make it some hot chick voice. So, it'll sound appealing and alluring, very charismatic. It's going to be great.
Well, you have heard Hteakya talk before, so you could probably...
Fuck yes, I'll steal
You can mimic her voice.
Yes, I sure will. Little artistic license, Yeah.
Just give her the tape, be like, here, report this. You're welcome.
Here you go. Yeah. Sure will. I'll be a little bit more respectful than Dude was with his little op cameras, I'll but I'll catch, a nice little just above looking down so the captain looks, as appealing as possible as, they're handing her these tons of goods, maybe she'll even have a smile on her face or look bored. Who knows?
So you guys kind of set up on and you're ready to take off. You load a ton of camping gear, basically to get these 10 people essentially set up. Actually, a ton of camping gear for 10 people is probably overkill, but that's not a bad thing. They can have some stuff set up for when the rest of the party, the rest of their group gets here, and you're ready for takeoff.
There should be some food in there too. I mean, they should be able to survive long enough for us to bring the ship back in that. So
yeah.
And teach themselves how to shoot the fucking pistols and read some books. Some books could be in there, on how not to be a dumbass in the jungle.
How to read for dummies.
Yeah. It'll all be in Galangalic because they need to speak. Yeah, they need to speak a civilized language.
It's an audio book on how to read for dummies.
Yeah.
Captain Beth, you can go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check for takeoff, and Keith, you can go ahead and start running your astrogation checks. You get a +2 to your astrogation plus intellect or education check because Shenanigans has much better computers.
Nice.
I got 9 for piloting. So.
Okay. So, yeah, Beth takes off much better in the shenanigans. You're the Millennium Falcon of the Traveler world. And you guys are basically spending the next 3 days. In that 3 days, traveling towards the jump limit, Shenanigans updates you because Shenanigans, she's been sitting on this planet in mothballs, basically just monitoring communications and basically waltzing through Aslan computer networks, and basically has outlined things that are buying and selling as far as trade ships go in the Halai chain and in along the edge of the Glorious Empire. And she basically has a list. So any broker checks for any trade routes that you guys are going to set up in the future, you'll get a +3 to your broker checks because you have this inside information on what's trading. And this information is probably good for at least the next year. I mean, trade can fluctuate greatly, and a lot of that trade really depends on the war effort, and being so close to the Glorious Empire, some things never change. War never changes. It's constant conflict over there.
Are there X-boats in this area?
No. But the Aslan do have a messenger service that they use, but it's mostly used at the clan level or at the military level. But the clans do have messenger ships that they send out, but it's not the clans, as far as like families go, when they go to an Airy or a Pride, when they go to settle a new area, the whole Pride goes. So there's not like, oh, well, Grandma's on this planet over here, and she sends Christmas cards via the X-boat, 12 parsecs away. That just doesn't happen with the Aslan. Their whole family packs up and goes. So...
Does Shenanigans have any information on this ham church?
So, yeah, there's a little bit. So, first of all, Keith, what'd you get for your astrogation?
13.
Okay, so you can add a +3 to your, or I'm sorry, +4, right, +5 to your, actually, no, I'm sorry, +7 because of the jump drive computers. Shenanigans has a BIS, so it has a computer that is dedicated to jump drive. You can add a +7 to your J drive plus intellect or education check, which is probably going to be, it's going to be obscene.
Okay, so that's 20.
Yeah, okay.
A nat 20.
Yeah, nat 20. So, wait, I rolled the wrong dice. So Shenanigans in this 1 week jump, they're bypassing Gortel, luckily, because basically what you learn is that Gortel is entirely run by the Church of Nam. It's a messianic cult that believes a divine entity will one day arise from humanity's collective soul, and that its ascension can be hastened by fostering psionics. Now that sounds cool to some people, maybe. The church has outlawed space travel for the vast majority of its citizens, allowing only the priesthood and select trained technicians to operate spacecraft. It was conquered by the Glorious Empire in 556. The planet recently overthrew its oppressors when the Empire had to withdraw to defend its other worlds from the Herate. The archaic Sindalian fleet of Gortal, mothballed on Delta Theta for centuries, returned to assert authority of the church. The priesthood would be happy to accept your guys' refugees as disciples, but this would merely make them slaves to a new master. So, yeah, Gortal.
No camera angles there.
You what?
Wouldn't get any good camera angles there. Bad lighting.
No, and
Gotta go to a
you
different
probably
set.
wouldn't be allowed to take off again either.
Yeah.
Well, that's not nice.
They probably, part of their customs check is to, use the holy water and christen you as you step off the ship. You're in the church now. You're a regular citizen. You're not allowed to fly anymore.
Yeah, that's depressing. Never mind. Fuck them.
Yeah, you guys can keep your Sindalian fleet. We don't really want it. So a week goes by, and you come out in Colony 6. And this is the Colony 6 system. So it is a dual star system. This is weird that it's got 2 primaries. I don't think that's right. But anyways, there's 2 stars. It's a binary star system. And actually, Colony 6 is about 2.2 AU out from an F45 star. And and it is a water world. Now at 2.2 AU, and that's going to put you a ways out. Operation. Travel times. So yeah, that is going at what is your? Pull this up again. Shenanigans has a 4G drive, so at 4G, that's putting you at 300 million kilometers distant. You're looking at 64 hours of time at full thrust.
Jeez.
Is there anybody around in the space?
For Colony 6, yeah, there's some ships. The comm traffic that you're receiving, so yeah, there are some ships. As a matter of fact, you pick up a number of vessels in anywhere from the 200 to 2,000 ton range. The majority of them look like they are trade craft. They're going to be traders and whatnot. You don't see any large bulk freighters. But the other thing that you're noticing is that a lot of these ships are actually of a military, more mercenary design.
So a lot of shit like the ship that just attacked us.
Not Aslan.
This is all human, huh?
Yeah, but there's a lot of mercenary craft. In fact, you're seeing several mercenary cruisers. Well, not several, but a couple.
All right. Nobody looked like your wanted poster.
Oddly enough, yeah, I will come up with that for next week. But if you want to throw out an active scan, which of course will, I mean, it's not like nobody knows that you're there, but if you want to throw out an active scan and really, say, hey, we're looking at you, you can.
Well, I mean, that's just the smart thing to do. I mean, you don't want to accidentally run over anybody.
So one of the, and this is for the entire group, and maybe Ox, you'll have some input on this since I know that you're an old Traveler player, but My Friday night group, they're doing Deep Night Revelation, and one of the things that we just ran into and kind of came up with was setting up a common a procedure. This is what we do right after we go into jump. So, for instance, you enter jump, one guy is going to walk the ship and do a quick security check. Another guy might, obviously check, the life support system and whatnot, make sure everything's copacetic. Then there's the procedure of what do we do immediately when we get out of jump? Do we do an automatic active scan? Do we automatically monitor all communications? Is it just a passive scan? Is it an active scan? Do we align the drive? Things like that. So it might be a good idea for you guys to think over the next week of, what kind of procedure do we go through that every time we come out of jump, what do we do? And the only time, and a lot of that is going to change, questions like this, like when you come out of jump, are you doing an active scan? I don't have to ask that, because unless you change the procedure, then it's automatically assumed that that's what you're going to do.
And unless we've got stealth jump, just an active scan makes sense.
Right? Yeah, because
everybody saw us anyway right then.
Right.
Why would somebody see us?
Because coming in or out of jump throws off a shit ton of radiation. Everybody sees that, unless you have stealth jump.
Which we do in the Anubis, but not in the
right.
Yeah, everybody saw the shenanigans come in. And
yeah.
So I mean,
essentially going in or coming out of jump is essentially like a small wormhole or black hole popping open and closing. So it's throwing off a ton of radiation. I don't know what, it's never really described. I don't know what kind of baffles are put on a ship to do stealth jump. That seems like, hand wavium bullshit to me. But,
right.
You're basically lighting up a small star every time you enter or leave jump.
And considering the idea of what a ship is, it's just a hollow thing where all our atmosphere is trapped that we're surviving in.
Right.
An active scan, would show, potential dangers and hazards that,
it's not general. It's in Traveler or in the core Traveler universe, which is what we're in. It's not a standard active scan. Isn't going to show you like interior, but it'll pop up what the ship's showing up as in the war book. What is this design of vessel? What's its standard design? Things like that. It may not show direct modifications or things of that nature unless you get a really good scan and you're really close. But it's not as bad as like 2300 AD.
Like rocks floating around and trash.
Oh yeah. Well, your active scan or your passive scans will show up a lot of that too.
Right.
So you got an 11, and one of the ships that you pick out is a mercenary cruiser. And hold on a second, I need to find here it is. For those reading along, it's on page 217 of High Guard Update 2022. It is a 18. No, it's not. No, that can't be right. No, that's the my bad. It's not page 217. I went to merchant cruiser, not mercenary. Mercenary 201. Okay, that's an awfully...
There's a whole bunch of islands.
So mercenary cruisers on page 201. It is 800 tons, and it is a sphere. Beth and Keith, you've seen ships like this before. Now, mercenary cruisers are generally, they have like 8 triple turrets on them. They are just bristling with guns. This one is pinging an IFF of Aradnus Security Services. Keith, you know Aradnus Mercenary Services or Security Services. You killed or got into a gun. You guys got into a gunfight with the captain of Aradnus on up in Yggdrasil in that little frontier town, and killed their captain. This is one of their mercenary ships is in the orbit pattern around Colony 6.
Now, they wouldn't recognize the shenanigans.
No.
So we're probably fine, but it's good to know that we.
Yeah, it is good to know.
I mean, are they? Do they appear to be providing system security? Do we need to check in with them before we land on the starport?
There is an additional piece of information. So their IFF is their IFF has additional information. It is saying Aradnus Security Services, and it is saying under the auspices of General Development Corporation.
Oh, these bitches.
So they are currently contracted to work for Hteakya.
Great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we're just passing on through, friends, you know. But, man, any one of these islands, man, I mean, we could dump people off on them and tell them to learn to fish. And there we go. Mission accomplished.
So the starport is actually on one of the southern ice caps down here. And there is a town there. And that would be where you would want to land if you want to check out the planet.
Oh man, do I have to pilot check again?
Yeah, you get radio clearance. Shenanigans is clear for landing.
Not too bad. 8.
Perfect. I mean, she didn't do it fancy like Ching Shi used to do, but she got you down, and it wasn't a rough ride. It was just straight and to the point, and she gets you guys into the docking port there on and this is a Class A starport, believe it or not. So yeah, it's a fancy starport. And we will pick up next week the information you're going to find out on Colony 6, and you can make your decision on whether or not you really want to leave anybody here to live. We'll pick that up next week at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Thanks. It was pretty fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. See you guys next week. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Good night.